Thank you. Good morning. I'm Professor Dr. Prof. Ng'andu. I'm here to share my story of never give up. My story is quite unique and very interesting, as you may take it. My story, I think it is much that it is never give up, but I've entitled it that from a village of dust to a vision of destiny. I was born in a family of 9. We have 6 girls and 3 boys from the parents who were just peasant farmers. Our days before sunrise and end long sunset with oars in our hands and the soil is our only granted of tomorrow's meal. In the world, education was a luxury for me. School fees, uniforms, books were distant dreams. My parents loved us so deeply, but the love alone, you could not pay for the school. Many around us accepted this fate. Most of my sisters, especially, they accepted this fate. They thought they would not go anywhere. Me personally, Prof. Mwango Ng'andu, I chose not to accept. This is the story of how a boy burning charcoal to survive became a researcher of today, a scholar and a distinguished professor, Prof. Ng'andu, with 3 masters, 3 PhDs, and a number of diplomas and certificates in various fields, including the passion of innovation and AI that we are doing with the Exodia Research University and Exodia Research Center. It is not a story but a talent. It is a story about tenacity. I never give up. I never give up. The first struggle was the charcoal, sweat, a cost of a dream. When it became clear that my parents could not afford to make me to school, I faced a painful choice to accept the limitation of my circumstance. I had to fight different ways for my future. I chose to fight. I began engaging in charcoal burning, brewing of local beer. I had a dirty and exhaustive work every day out, every day in. The smoke burnt my eyes. The bag's weight of sacks bent my back. But each bag of charcoal was not just a fuel for someone's fire, but it was a fuel for my dream. With the money that I earned from charcoal and beer brewing, I paid for my school up to my high level or my secondary school. I studied in a dim light, often tired from laboring during the day. Many times I felt like giving up, but each time I reminded myself, my beginning do not define my ending. You imagine that sometimes when you go home in the night, even covering for ourselves, we were to get our mom's wrapper to cover ourselves. Sleeping, we are sleeping down, not even on a mat, but on the skin of the animal. But I said, this beginning will not define my ending. The power of others. I was so lucky that when I managed to go to secondary school, I met some well-wishers who did give me money, not only as an opportunity. I had to work in their farm fields, engaging in planting, weeding, harvesting, in exchange for the help for my school fees. My classroom was not just made of walls, and the chocobos, but it was a field of maize, groundnuts, millets. From them, I learned a powerful lesson from those well-wishers. When I refuse to give up on myself, others will find easier way to believe in me. With their support and my own effort, I managed to complete my high secondary school with distinctions, a milestone that once looked impossible. And I will tell you that when I was at secondary school or high school, I was even appointed as the house prefect because of my humbleness. And even when I was in junior secondary school, I was a class representative because of my humbleness and the performance I was showing in class. Expanding my horizon from the secondary school, I had a uncle who was working for Sun Bank, but he promised that he would help me. I could not see the help coming. So when I got those distinction going to tertiary schools, there was no any help that came forth. I ended up going back to the village, doing the chalk burning, and went to the college to go and pursue theology. That is on the copper belt of Zambia. One last day, I met someone whom I would not mention, who felt bad for me and asked me to go and do teaching at one of the universities now. It was a college. I went to go and do teaching there. Fortunately, whilst I was doing teaching and where I went for TP, teaching practice, I met some government officials who were doing recruitments in government. That's how I made my fortune. I was employed as a clerical officer in the cabinet office and deployed in the village again. This was the luckiest thing I think that came before me. When I joined, then I thought I should pay for my education, my other further studies. I went to what is called Murungushi University by now. By then, it was not Murungushi University. I enrolled again for diploma in international relations. And that is how the journey started for international relations. I graduated there while I was in school. I was working. And I thought I took advantage also with the salary I was getting to educate my brothers, the two brothers I had, because these sisters of mine, they proved to be failures. So the phase of my life taught me the opportunity of the world and not reserved for those born in comfort. They are variable to those who refuse to surrender. I never surrendered. From Mwango University, I immediately finishing before even the graduation, I enrolled for the first degree in development studies at another university. I completed. I was going to graduate. I went to graduate in diploma, whilst I was also graduating for the first degree because the transition at where I was doing my diploma delayed from the college to university, so I had to go and graduate under the auspice of university, Mwango University. But I had also completed my bachelor's degree. But whilst I was also working in government and promotions were coming. From there, immediately I graduated, I enrolled for masters in international relations and conflict resolutions with the Crystal University. I went there, I pursued without delay. Within 2 years, I finished and I enrolled again for the PhD at the major university in the Republic of Zambia, that is University of Zambia, in international relations and security studies. I did my PhD. I graduated with very good recommendations, and by then now I'd risen in terms of ranks. So that journey, I thought I should now go further go ahead to pursue other studies. and I enrolled for other masters. As I've said, that I have 3 masters and 3 PhDs. I started doing double in terms of studies. As I've said, as I was studying to become a teacher, the government employed me quite all right. This is what helped me. But I thought also to consider my own partner, my wife, and to take us to school to ensure that she got some papers. She's also a teacher. That is early childhood teaching. I never ended there. And my lesson learning continued in pursuing other studies. As I'm talking now, I'm doing also the 4th PhD in economic, that is PhD in business studies. I'm also doing PhD in masters with the Texas American University. That is, I'm also doing a diploma, postgraduate diploma with the University of Zambia. That is in postgraduate in teaching methodology with the University of Zambia. Yes, I've seen that with the passion, with the mind that never give up, you can manage what you want. With that charisma, with that determination, that has made me to be so innovative. I have a passion to engage into artificial intelligence and innovation with Exodia Research University. From the village to the university, from the charcoal to AI, this is what it means to never give up. I've learned this one. I've some principles of my journey. My story is not just about me. It's a mirror in which others can see possibility for themselves and let them share with others. My background is a starting point, not a prison. I would tell you that when I was even in primary schools, I'd faced a challenge where I was struck by lightning, which took me about 2 days. Other people, they thought I was dead and the grave was dark, but I came to life. I never gave up. I continued with school. While I was in secondary school, I was sick, which took me about 1 month out of school. But when I recuperated, I had to go back. I never gave up. Then while we were in Form 3, I would say in grade 10, the school, we had some riots and we are all suspended. And when the school was resumed, me, because of being in the village, by then communication was very difficult. I didn't even know. When I went there, they were almost concluding the term going to from grade 11, that is Form 4. But I decided to go also into Form 4, and my performance was very good when completing school. I never gave up. I tell you, when I started work, as I was doing the studies, I was involved in accidents, where first accident, my officer and others died on the spot, and this car, which you are seeing, it was out of that accident. And I was doing first degree in development studies. But when I recovered, I went back. I never gave up. And I tell you, when I was doing also masters, I was involved in an accident where everybody perished, and I broke my arm here. But I decided to go back and I completed my masters. Even when I was doing my PhD, my first PhD at the University of Zambia, I fell sick. Totally, where people even lost hope that I would survive. But I survived and went back. That was the month when I was supposed to defend, and I delayed to defend. So they had even to reconsider me. So instead of defending, that was in somewhere, that was the time also the COVID-19 started. So I failed to defend, but when I recovered, I was reconsidered. I went to defend, and I graduated together with my friends. So what I'm saying is, despite all these things, Education is a powerful equalizer. You can see from Chaco to what I am, to a researcher, to an innovator, to a scholar. I'm now a distinguished professor. I've gone through thick and thin, but I've never given up. Helping others rise as you rise. Supporting of my brothers, supporting my relatives, supporting my wife through education was not a burden. And it has never been a burden. We have tried with my wife to ensure that our children, they also get the best out of they can. We have the first went to Russia for first year, that is civil engineering. He was there, he did very well. He was considered for masters, he was considered for PhD. He's now a lecturer at Mwango Ng'andu University. The second one also went to Russia to do medical biology. He was doing very well. The third one is in Iowa University, that is in USA. She's doing very well, that is medical biology also. So never stop to learn. The 3 masters I've said and the 3 PhDs I've acquired, and number of diplomas, number of certificates I've acquired, I've never given up. As I'm saying, I'm still at UNICAF University. That's where I'm doing my PhD in business administration. And public health at Texas American University, I'm doing my master's. And I'm also doing postgraduate diploma in teaching methodology, just as to back up, because it is one of the requirements in our country, because of due to the recent program of competence-based curriculum that we have done. It's a requirement that everyone must do that. So I'm also doing that at our main university, that is the University of Zambia. Faith, resilience, and vision sustain you when circumstances cannot sustain. There are certain countless moments, as I've mentioned in my case, when giving up would have been easier, but vision kept me going. I don't have always know how, but I always know why I do that. Sometimes I receive encouragement, I will tell you, from my wife. Every time, even when I have assignments, I have things to do, she always encourages me. The message to my friends from those who are listening, that what is your charcoal in your hands? Are you a listener to a story? You might be facing a lot of hardships. Maybe you struggle with a charcoal in terms of fees, sickness, lack of support. Maybe your family background seems like they are in a cage. Maybe you failed an exam, lost a job, or fees too hard to start, or they are quite expensive. That should not be a challenge. That should not make you to give up. I myself am saying, I'm a charcoal. What is difficult, humble, and uncomfortable takes you in place today, not as a case. In my case, I've never seen that as a case, and I've never believed that I can be case, but as a step towards my dream. The journey will not ease. Ladies and gentlemen, fathers and mothers, mine certainly wasn't, but the struggle can be converted into a strength if you choose not to surrender. If a boy like me, from a family of 9, born to the peasant farmers, bent charcoal to pay, brewed cachasso, love beer, can grow into a scholar like me today, distinguished professor today, a researcher and AI innovator, then you can also do it. Overcome your challenges. You may not control where you start, but you can control how you respond. So, when you feel tired, remember. When you feel tired, remember the fields I worked in. I worked into the teachers' fields at Good Samaritans to assist me with school fees. The nights I was exhausted with charcoal, but I had to study. The brothers and my children, my wife, I've tried to support, but you have to study. The degrees I've earned against all these issues, all these odds, but I've managed. And let one sentence rise in our hearts: never, never give up, because the world needs your story too. Thank you very much.